All right, guys, so we are starting chapter 9, and we've already done the basics of fractions, and now we're going to compare them. And when we compare, that means we see what is different about them. Now, I know I said we were going to start on page 505 and 506, but before I do this, I want to make sure you know the vocabulary. I'm pretty sure you already know most of the vocabulary, but we just need to make sure. So that's why I went ahead and went to the flashcards. You can do the flashcards too if you want. So the first word in our vocabulary is denominator. Is that the top or the bottom of the fraction? It is the bottom, D for down, okay? And the denominator is always the whole, as a how many pieces are in the whole, or how many pieces are in the group, okay? And then this next one is eighths. So that means we take something and we cut it into how many pieces? 8. Okay. Equal parts. Now this is just part of fractions. Like if they're not equal parts, then they can't be a fraction. So every time we have a fraction, we have to make sure all the pieces are equal. This one is new. Equivalent fractions. Now, you might not know what this means, but look at the beginning of this word, equal. It just sounds like another word we know. Sounds like equal. So equivalent fractions must mean that the fractions are the same. So I'm going to show you an example of equivalent fractions. This is 1/2. Over here, I am going to shade in 2/4. Are those equal? Do they have the same amount shaded in? Yeah, even though they are not the same fraction, they are still equal. Okay. The next one we're going to look at is greater than. You just got to remember your little sharp jaws from the beginning of the year. And less than. And then we have numerator. So we already said the denominator is the bottom, so the numerator is what? The top, right? And the numerator is how many pieces we are counting. And unit fraction, this is review from last time. Any fraction that has a what on top? That has a 1 on top. Not on the bottom, it has to be the numerator. Okay, so 1/8, that's a unit fraction. 1/16, that's a unit fraction. 2/5 is not a unit. All right, so now that we've gone over the vocabulary, let's go ahead and dive right in to the page 505. I'm actually not going to spend too much time on that first page because it's show what you know, and I always like to have you guys do that on your own. So let's look. It says compare fractions, show what you know. You guys also have this quiz online, and it's an actual quiz. So you're just going to do your best. It's review of what we've done with fractions. And then, and if you don't know everything, this is the first lesson in our new unit. You're not supposed to know everything yet. So we're going to go ahead and make the page a little bit bigger. So let's halves and fourths. It's important to read all of the headlines, right? Find the shape that is divided into 2 equal parts. Color 1/2. You got to make sure you're following the directions. For number 2, find the shape that is divided into 4 equal parts. Color 1/4. I am not doing either of these for you. You can do them on your own. The next one says parts of a whole. Write the number of shaded parts in the number of equal parts. Okay, so this one has, how many parts are shaded? 2, right? How many of the parts are the same size? 3. Okay, you're going to do the same thing for number 4. All right, so fractions of a whole, write the fraction that names the shaded part of each shape. You got this. You got this. I'm going to go ahead and read the word problem to you out loud. This one is always a little bit frustrating because it makes you think. You're using your critical thinking brain cells. Let's go ahead and read it. Anna keeps her marbles in bags with 4 marbles in each bag. Kind of important, right? She writes 3/4 to show the number of red marbles in each bag. Find another fraction to name the number of red marbles in 2 bags. All right, so we have 2 bags, right? It wants us to find that. And we know in 1 bag, she has 3/4, or what color? Red, right? So if 1 bag is 3/4 red, the other bag's going to be what? 3/4 red. How many fourths do we have altogether? We have 6/4 altogether, right? We're going to cut up this bag into pieces and shade the fourths. Each bag has 3/4, so we count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6/4. And if you want to turn that into a whole number and a fraction, go ahead. I like that. That's always a good thing. All right, so let's move on to the next page. The next page is our vocabulary, so it's actually very important that you follow along on this one. And we just went over the vocabulary a second ago. You guys are gonna do fine on this. Okay, so as usual, we have all of our vocabulary on the side, and it starts with review words, and then it goes into the preview words for this chapter. And whatever has a check mark next to it, we're gonna use on our what is it section. Okay, so let's read the check mark ones first. That way we know which ones we're working with. Our first one is greater than, and we have less than, unit fraction, whole numbers, and then underneath equivalent. So those are the words we have to use for the what is it part. All right, so complete the flow map by using the words with a check mark, fractions and whole numbers. All right, so we have to look at the fractions they're comparing and figuring out which one of these words are going to work out for that. All right, so let's look at the first one. 2/3 is greater than 1/3. Now, I even said the word there. Which one is it? You're right, it's greater than. Okay. And this one, it says 1/4 is blank than 2/4. You guys know what this is. The crocodile's going the wrong way, right? So it's going to be less than. All right. 1/2, hey, this is similar to what I did earlier, is equal to 2/4. We only got 3 words left to fill in here. That's gonna be unit fractions. Unit fractions always have a what on top. They always have a 1 on top. There's 1, but they're not both 1, so it can't be unit fractions. Whole numbers, 1/2 and 2/4 are not whole numbers. It's part of a number. So it must be the last one, which says equivalent. And we could even tell that because there's an equal sign in the middle, right? All right, we only got 2 more words to go. So this one is 1/3 and 1/4. Hey, those both have 1s on top. So those ones are unit fractions. Uh-oh. All right, so the last one, 2 over 2 and 4 over 2 must be whole number. All right, guys. I wish it would stay there instead of coming all the way down. Oh, I could hit the clear button. Here, I'll draw. All right, so now we need to understand the vocabulary. We're going to write a review word or a preview word that answers the riddle. Riddles are so much fun, okay? We are two fractions that name the same amount. Now, when they're the same amount, it uses that word, equal, right? So we got to figure out which one is this. We already used all the check mark ones, so we're not going to use that. Compare, that doesn't have equal in it. Denominator, that doesn't have equal in it. Eighths, that doesn't have equal in it. Equal parts. Maybe equal to, got two of them now that have equal. Fourth, that doesn't have equal in it. Fractions, that doesn't have equal in it. Halves, that doesn't have equal in it. Oh man, numerator, order, sixths, thirds, none of those have equal in it. And fractions, that doesn't have equal in it either. Let me read that again. We are two fractions that name the same amount. Equal parts or equal to. They're going to be equal to each other, right? So that's what we're going to write there. Okay, let's look at the next one. I am the part of a fraction above the line. I tell how many parts are being counted. You guys know this one. You don't even have to look at the words. The top one is the numerator. Oh, that's weird. Okay. All right, number 3. I am the part of a fraction below the line. You know this one too. I tell how many equal parts are in a whole or in a group. So the one that's below the line on the bottom is the denominator. And remember, D is for down. All right, guys, so you got to go take your Show What You Know quiz. And you're going to rock it out because we remember fractions from a couple weeks ago. All right, I miss you, and I will see you